Caitlin Clark reportedly offered a whopping $5 million to join the Big Three. That's a men's 3-on-3 league founded by Ice Cube.
We think with a move like this, all boats rise, with the tide. So we think this will put the league in a different stratosphere. And everybody across the board in the league would benefit.
Ice Cube just sent a message loud and clear. Caitlin Clark is the most valuable name in women's basketball, and Angel Reese didn't even make the conversation.
Ice Cube just kept it real, and he's 100% right. He just said Caitlin Clark's bringing all the money and all the revenue and all the viewership and all the interest, and Angel Reese ain't got that.
The sports world was shocked when Ice Cube's Big Three League offered Clark a massive $5 million deal, an amount unheard of in women's sports. But the real shocker? Reese got nothing.
Ice Cube, very expertly and rightfully so, believed Caitlin Clark could generate a massive financial impact to his business.
Ice Cube didn't hesitate to reject her, openly stating that she doesn't move the needle the way Clark does. This wasn't just a contract offer. This was a reality check for the WNBA and the media, proving once again that Clark is in a league of her own.
I believe her agents were hating on it because her agents that she has are also NBA. They got a lot of NBA guys that they make millions off of. So I think they was like, man, we don't care if she making more money. She gonna go back to the WNBA. We're gonna keep everybody happy. We're gonna keep making our money from the boys.
Today we're breaking down why Ice Cube made this decision, how Clark's influence is reshaping basketball, and why Reese's forced hype simply can't compete. The moment Ice Cube extended a $5 million offer to Caitlin Clark, it was clear he understood what the WNBA refuses to admit. Clark is the only player bringing real money, real ratings, and real influence to women's basketball.
She would not make the financial impact that Caitlin Clark would have made. We've seen that with everything across the board. Attendance, ratings, revenue, the whole nine.
Caitlin Clark has done is grown the WNBA exponentially. She did in 5 weeks what would have taken 5 years. And as it pertains to draft viewership, she did in 5 days what would have taken 5 years.
This wasn't a symbolic offer. This was business. The Big Three League, known for attracting former NBA stars and legends, wanted Clark because they know she delivers results. The same can't be said for Angel Reese. Despite Reese's social media following and controversial moments, Ice Cube made it clear she doesn't have the financial or cultural impact that Clark brings.
And the fact that he just comes out and says, Angel Reese doesn't have it like that. I like watching her play, but she wouldn't have brought the eyes, the attention, and the impact to the Big Three that we know Caitlin Clark would have brought.
Clark isn't just another rookie. She's a walking ratings boost, a ticket-selling machine, and the face of a new era in women's sports. The numbers prove it. Every game Clark plays in is a must-watch event, drawing millions of viewers, something Reese simply cannot replicate.
You take that same player and now you put her as the first professional female basketball player to play men's league at the highest level. Now it's an explosion of interest from people who can see if they can do it. So
Ice Cube wasn't being disrespectful. He was being honest. He publicly stated that Reese wouldn't have brought the eyeballs, the attention, or the financial impact needed to make the deal worth it. Meanwhile, Clark's presence alone would have elevated the Big Three League to new heights. It's not about favoritism. It's about who actually brings value. And when it comes to business, Clark is the only choice.
And my advice to anyone that comes in with this, this level of notoriety, out of this world expectation, whatever the case may be, I just think it's all about having, be a horse, man. The Kentucky Derby, put your blinders on, go to work, show up to work, punch your clock in, prepare yourself, work on your game, work on your craft,
While Ice Cube was ready to make history with Clark, the WNBA and NBA were working behind the scenes to stop it. In a shocking revelation, Ice Cube exposed how Clark's own agents in the NBA prevented him from even speaking with her. Why? Because they were protecting their system, afraid that Clark stepping outside of the WNBA would expose just how poorly the league manages its stars.
Their agents was probably like, are we going to make the NBA mad? Let her play in the big three for, a little commission and possibly alienate all these, these $1 million deals we got going and all these commissions we get with the guys.
Clark's presence alone has skyrocketed WNBA ratings, ticket sales, and merchandise profits, yet the league continues to treat her like just another player.
Caitlin Clark just came in to play basketball. All of a sudden, the black women of the WNBA decided to knock her on her ass from behind. All of a sudden, the black women, Angel Reese and her teammates, decided to cheer for them. All of a sudden, other black women decided, like Asia Wilson, to be idiots when talking about her, jealous when they're talking about her. Caitlin Clark and her fans didn't start anything.
The WNBA and its allies refuse to fully embrace their biggest asset, even though she's the only reason the league is experiencing this level of success. Instead, they focus on equality narratives, trying to prop up other players who don't generate even half of Clark's numbers.
One more thing on Caitlin, which makes her super valuable, is she is leading the WNBA in points generated, which means points scored and or points assisted on. She is leading the league by a significant margin, and she is doing this as a rookie with a fever team that is not comprised of a bunch of all-stars.
Meanwhile, Reese and others are handed media attention, even though their impact on actual revenue and viewership is nowhere near Clark's. The WNBA wants to force parity instead of letting the fans decide who the real stars are. But Ice Cube's offer proved the truth. Clark is the only name that matters in women's basketball right now, and even outside leagues see it.
He just comes out and says, Caitlin Clark got the offer, Angel Reese didn't because Angel Reese doesn't move the needle.
Ice Cube openly called out the gatekeeping happening behind the scenes. He revealed that Clark's agents, who also represent NBA players, chose to protect their existing relationships rather than let Clark explore an offer that could have changed women's sports forever. The NBA and WNBA weren't interested in Clark making history in a league they don't control, so they made sure the deal never happened. This isn't just about one player. It's about who really holds power in sports and how they try to keep things the way they've always been.
My advice to Caitlin, kind of keep your mouth shut, because everybody is looking for you to say anything and they're going to splice it and cut it and make it a negative thing.
Despite everything working against her, Caitlin Clark continues to prove that she is bigger than the WNBA itself. Her rookie season is already breaking records that no player before her has even come close to.
And I want to personally thank Caitlin Clark for lifting up our sport. And it just is not going to stop here on the collegiate tour. But when she is the #1 pick in the WNBA draft, she's gonna lift that league up.
The media can try to shift the spotlight, and other players can try to downplay her success. But the numbers don't lie. Clark is the reason people are watching. She's responsible for record-breaking ticket sales, with Indiana Fever games selling out arenas that barely drew crowds before she arrived.
Caitlin Clark, what she's doing doesn't minimize what they've done, but we should have been giving her the credit. We saw the ratings, we saw the merchandise sales, we saw the attendance, but y'all want to make it about something else. Oh, what about the women that laid the foundation? What about this? What about it? That ain't got nothing to do with Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is box office. She's doing this.
She's single-handedly driving TV ratings with her games averaging millions of viewers, something the WNBA never achieved before her. Even merchandise sales have hit historic highs, with Clark's jersey outselling every other WNBA player combined. Ice Cube's offer only highlighted what fans already know. Clark is the only women's basketball player who truly moves the needle. Whether the WNBA wants to admit it or not, she is the face of the league.
Caitlin Clark is becoming the best player, not because she's white, because she's that good. She's having Larry Bird impact. She's been the driving force of the hottest team in the entire league, despite her record turnovers. Why? Because she's that good. She's legit good. She's colorblind good. She's guilt-free good. She's apolitically good.
But instead of celebrating her and using her star power to build the sport, the league continues to resist. They fear that admitting Clark is the main attraction would expose how little their previous marketing strategies have worked. Meanwhile, Angel Reese, despite all the media hype, has failed to generate the same level of influence. She benefits from constant media protection, but when it comes to actual business value, she's nowhere near Clark.
but they don't want it to grow if it's certain people at the face. And there is still this undertone of jealousy that for some reason I cannot get around calling it anything else but that, because I don't know what else it could be. I thought it was going to get better this season, but it hasn't. There are still people who seemingly, to me, feel like they just don't want Caitlyn to be a part.
That's why Ice Cube made his decision so quickly. He looked at the numbers, saw the reality, and understood what the WNBA refuses to accept.
Caitlyn Clark is box office. She is a star. Who, by the way, I'm going to go there, who happens to be white and brought a level of attention and allure to the sport it had not received before.
Clark is a once-in-a-generation talent who transcends the sport. And the best part? She's just getting started. Ice Cube's decision to reject Angel Reese and offer Caitlyn Clark $5 million was not about opinions, it was about facts.
Caitlyn Clark got a $5 million offer from Ice Cube's Big 3 League. And the fact that he just comes out and says, Angel Reese doesn't have it like that. I like watching her play, but she wouldn't have brought the eyes, the attention, and the impact to the Big 3 that we know Caitlyn Clark would have brought.
Clark is the most valuable name in women's basketball and the only player truly driving financial success. Meanwhile, the WNBA continues to mismanage its biggest star while forcing narratives around players who can't match Clark's numbers. So what do you think? Was Ice Cube's decision proof that Clark is the only true star in women's basketball? How much longer can the WNBA afford to ignore reality? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss the latest updates on Caitlyn Clark and the world of basketball.